Alrighty. Thoroughbreds, welcome back to another episode of Penalty Broncos. We are the number one Broncos podcast that we listen to. This is the NRL review sort of preview show. I'm coming to you from the bandwagon bar. There's most likely going to be a few people on the wagon this week after today's game. Anyway, we've got our forward pack online as well, listening in. Langers, mate, how has your week been?
Mate, yeah, week's been good. I was in Nebo this week, just doing God's work, just working through the project that we got going there. And then weekend was good. Got the chores out of the way, mowing the lawn and pulling all the weeds and doing all that fun stuff. And then met up with you and your tribe for a little family fun day, little shindig at Bushy Beach there on Saturday. So no, it was good, mate. It was a good little weekend. But what about you, Ringer? How was yours, mate?
Mate, missed last week after probably the greatest game the NRL has ever thrown up. So pretty, it was lucky where I was. We did a little bit of fishing up in the Gulf in a helicopter. So, it's about the only thing I would trade missing that game for, to be fair, and missing the glaze session that come after it. So, glad to be home though. And tense weekend of rugby league, I suppose you could say, of who's going to go forward, who gets knocked out. And it's all done and dusted now. It's up to the prelim, so let's go.
We're pretty blessed here in the good state of Queensland. The AFL, I believe both the men and women's, the Lions are through to the grand final next weekend, so they'll be heading in. So now it's just up to the NRL and NRLW teams to sort of do their thing as we come up. So I had a busy week down in Brisbane, right on the brown snake there. 69th floor of the Meriton gives you a pretty good view of the old brown snake. Cheers for work for hooking that up. If for those wondering, it's 52 seconds to catch the elevator up. It's a long fucking time, by the way. All right, well, we'll get into it, I reckon. We'll have a bit of a chat about what happened over the weekend. Shout out to you guys as well that are listening. Can you please hit that like button? Make sure you're subscribed wherever you're listening. That'd be really awesome, and we appreciate it. So we had, over the weekend, obviously, the finals of week 2 come and go. He's bounced the Raiders out straight sets. First time since, what was it, 2009, I believe, or something around those eras.
Dragons,
the Dragons, bounced out minor premiers straight sets. Sharkies looking good. I'll go the Sharks over the Storm. What about you, Ringer?
Yeah, mate, I'm going to too. They've completely sort of turned around what their whole season's sort of been about, how they haven't had that hard edge. They get into tough fights and they sort of find a way to fuck it up, sort of thing. So, no, they're defensively very strong. And then they've got that touch of class with Nico's actually turning it right on. Trindle's playing well. And then, Adam Fanua-Blake is absolutely owning people in the middle. So, and Blake Bailey, of course, the rise of the hooker of the year, just coming out of nowhere. So it's going to be a great battle against Melbourne, but they're definitely going to be underdogs, which I think is going to be good value.
Yeah. What about you, Langers, mate?
Yeah, I think I'm going to jump on the Sharks bandwagon as well, to be honest. Just watching that game against the Raiders, Raiders didn't really have any sort of answer to them, mate. It was really, really good. And I think the commentators were saying that, the last 3 or 4 games that the Sharks have played, I think they've only conceded, the low teens every single game. So, obviously their defensive effort has really improved, at this tail end of the season, which is obviously the perfect time for it to happen. So, mate, I'm more than happy to not see a Melbourne Storm in the grand final, So I'll happily go the Sharks on that one.
I'm still a little Queensland, but I'd love to see a non-Sydney grand final.
Broncos Melbourne would, it's always going to be the second favourite, but no, you definitely want someone that's not the Panthers or Melbourne to be in the final, I think.
Yeah, 100%. their last 5, looking here, they've won, and it's like 54-22 against the Titans, 40-16 Knights, 24-6 Bulldogs, 20-10 Roosters, and then 32-12 to the Raiders. So good stuff. And you know, Melbourne hasn't exactly convinced me lately. They
no, exactly.
Yeah, and I mean Jerome coming back. I don't know. We're just going to see a repeat of Suncorp sort of thing. You know, send AFB at him a few times. Send that Billy Burns.
Loving the big fella. Clouds,
mate. Yeah, huge game the other day. I was very, very pleased. He's probably been doing it for more than once. I just haven't watched, but yeah, no, had a great game. So. And then Blake Bradley, I was watching the presser afterwards, and he just looked like a little school kid sitting there next to Fitzy, just waiting for his turn. He's just 61 tackles too. He knocked out, and he just sitting there calm as shit. Looked like he'd already showered and everything. And I was like, mate, you just came off the trenches. Yeah, and you're sitting there just like calm as.
Fit as a fiddle, that kid.
Yeah, we'll get to the other game now. Fucking Bulldogs, my lord, what did you guys do? Like, don't get me wrong, I'm happy now because all your fans will fuck off until next year, or until you win again, because it's about the only time they ever come out of the woodwork. 26-46, just like missing critter, and you forgot how to tackle. I think you were keeping up with the clock when it came to missed tackles. It was like 38 missed tackles in the first half or something.
41. Yeah.
Was it 41, was it?
41. It flashed up on the screen just as they were going for that conversion, yeah.
Oh, mate. What do you talk me through it, Langers, mate? Did you watch the game?
I was in and out. I was outside planting some flowers with the toddler this afternoon, but I had it on the TV and just, volume up a little bit extra, sort of loud. I don't really give a fuck about either team, like, don't really care who we have to play next week. We'll fucking Broncos 13 plus regardless. No. But no, so like, yeah, I did have it on, but I wasn't, very attentively watching it. But from what I did see, yeah, it was just like, I don't know. We've always said you give credit where credit is due. And like, yeah, the Panthers attack was pretty good. But yeah, I just feel like I even said it on the, on the Kennel podcast when we got invited there a few weeks ago, that yeah, without Critter, I just think the Bulldogs fall apart, and yeah, more case in point for that one as well. I think Lockie Galvin didn't have a bad game, like he was, in and about sort of thing, and I've been very critical of him, but like obviously he didn't have a terrific game, obviously, but yeah, like I've been pretty critical. I don't think that was the right call bringing him into the Bulldogs, but yeah, it wasn't great watching if you are, Almo from the Kennel or any sort of Bulldogs fan. That's for sure. It would have been a very hard sort of watch. But yeah, credit to the fucking Panthers, I guess.
Yeah, shout out to the Bumped Out podcast lads as well. Adrian on there is a Bulldog fan, but he assures me that he is on the bandwagon for the Broncos
nice.
all the way. So hopefully we can finish this dynasty off, get a little bit of redemption for 2023. What about you, Ringer, mate? Any chat on the Bulldogs-Panthers game?
Yeah, I watched it because I was pretty interested to see of how, like, who we've got to pull on. And I dead set thought the Bulldogs were going to at least show a bit more, give a bit of better account of themselves. And honestly, they looked shocking. Apart from Kickout's bloody charge down in the first couple of sets, that's about as much energy as they showed. They look like, you can have players out, but you can still go in with a bit of mongrel. The only one that actually looked like he was there to, play a sudden death game was Satili Tupanua off the bench. And so, I don't know. I think especially Kiraz is sick of Galvin shit. A few times there when he's thrown it over the sideline or threw a shit pass or knocked it on, you could see in the background, like Kiraz is just rolling his eyes and shaking his head. And yeah, it doesn't look like a very content environment there at the moment. Because even, when they were rolling through them, you have to question sometimes how Matt Burton has got the best kicking game, like the biggest kicking game of any player in the comp. And did you see one Burton bomb? Like,
yeah,
that's that. You get down by 12, you go, well, fuck this. get Matty to the middle of the field and on tackle 4, we're just going to send something skyward, chase down and see what happens. It didn't happen. And you're like, how do you not use that huge weapon that you have in your duffel bag and you just make him sit out down an edge? For Alberto, he made about 400 terrible defensive decisions where he raced up out of the line and seemed to not get anyone. Like, he didn't get the ball, didn't get the player passing the ball, and didn't get the ball recipient. So, crisis time for the Dogs. If they don't pull this, if they don't turn it around, they're going to have a very tough next year, I reckon, because it's a bad way to go out, to get pumped by that much in the elimination final.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah. And they have to make the Galvin thing work, it has to be a premiership or nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
They blew up that team just to bring him over.
Yeah.
And, I get it. If you're looking long term, he's on the market, he's available. Let's get him, let's bring him in, let's pay what we need to do to get him there. But from there, I think it should have been go back, pay. I know we're paying you, but if you're going to pay him this for a long term thing anyway, send him back to the reserve grade, get him playing in there. Do what he needed to do to learn the systems. Don't fucking blow up your 7 and your 9.
Yep.
You were undefeated up until you met us for the beginning of the season, and then you were top of the ladder for quite a while after that, and you just blew it up to bring some young gun in that doesn't fit your system and needed time to learn it.
And not only that, they've lost their 7 and 9 now with.
Yep.
I don't know what the fucking succession plan is, because it's becoming terribly obvious that Lockie Garvin's not a 7. Like, he just isn't. The poor kid isn't. He might develop into a good 6 one day, but he didn't show that today. Matt Burton was lost in the centres. Like, he hasn't played centre much all year. He's your 6, isn't he? Oh, I don't know. It just seems pretty. If you look at that team now, you think, okay, so now what next year? No Reid Marnie, no obvious 7. Connor Tracy's obviously not going to win you big games at fullback because he had a shocker too defensively. So, yeah, I don't know. Like, what? It's a fair bit of drawing board work, I think, for the Doggies.
Rumour has it that Sean O'Sullivan from the Dolphins has signed with the Dogs.
Right.
So that leaves Birdo out in the centres. Because Sean is a 7, so you can play in there, sure. But, why would you get rid of Sexton and bring in O'Sullivan?
Exactly. It's nearly almost direct like for like, isn't it? Like,
they're
not going to set the world on fire, but they're good kicking game and they're old ahead. Like,
Yep. Anyway,
but it's the same.
Like, chat about.
It's bugger them. But I'm not. The Dogs are that bad that I'm not, as a Broncos fan, you obviously got your hang-ups about Penrith because they are Penrith, but nothing about Penrith made me think they were blistering or brilliant. The Dogs were just fucking terrible. Like, they really were. So, like,
I'm on that one.
If we're playing the Bulldogs today, I think we put 60 on them. Dead set.
Yeah.
Like, with the gaps they were leaving, with the decisions they were making in defence and how sort of slow and lazy they were. So, yeah, it sucks that they give Penrith a nice coasty fucking run through, but that's about it.
Yeah, they could have hurt him a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Panthers just played their grindy footy, and then just today it was worth 46 points.
Exactly.
If the Dogs actually had shown up, they probably would have made maybe 30 points. But I went the unders on best bets, and the fucking Panthers did that nearly in the first half.
Exactly. Yeah.
Fuck.
But no one expected the Dogs to turn up that terrible. No one.
Yeah. Even when they panned to the crowd, I think there's a lot of Dogs fans that didn't even think that was going to happen.
Yeah.
Poor Bars. Fuck, I feel sorry for him. It's not how you want to go out.
Car in Belmore tonight.
Same as the Milk fans. Far out. Didn't that go off quick? Anyway. Fuck them. Let's get into our own little thing here. Gronk, no video today from the Gronk. He is currently out and about in the rugby league community at the Paul Bowman Carnival. So no video this week in Proserpine. He said give it a shout out. Good little carnival, very well run, in his words. Some 88 teams for the under nines.
Wow.
So a massive, massive turnout, and apparently without a glitch has just been rolling through. So good stuff there. Shout out to whoever
And Proserpine's
organised
not
that
a
one.
big place either. So to host 88 teams,
Nah.
that's a fairly good effort.
Yeah, I think I'll tell you what, if I was a dad in that one, I'd be like, oh no, we have to stay in early. Shit.
Boo.
There's no accommodation in Prosy. Fuck. I'd fuck up and find out that there's nothing in Airlie and end up in Bowen or some shit.
Yeah. Well, that's where the Gronk was.
Yeah. Nah, he was there because that's the cheapest accommodation.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. He could fish for his dinner, and it wasn't as expensive.
He probably stole the fuel on the way out. Coming up this weekend, Thoroughbreds, if you are keen, I will be having a live show watch along for the preliminary final. We'll be doing both the NRLW and NRL games. Not sure who's going to be dropping in. I got a brother-in-law who's a Cowboy supporter. He might drop in and watch some real footy since both of his got all of them actually. Shit weekend for him because the Cows docked out in the NRLW, and then his Collingwood also got smacked by the Lions. So not the greatest.
Well, I've got some breaking news on that front, Brito. We've actually changed some plans, and I think the Ring is going to be joining you for that prelim final in Townsville. So
hey.
It could be a little bit dangerous, I think. We might have to send the women and children to a bunker somewhere so they're safe from the explosives and the loudness that could come on. But we're trying our hardest to make it up there, mate, so we can get there.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that'd be good. We'll send him over to Langer's house, and he can come over here. Do a clean swap.
I'm down for that. Yeah, I've got family coming, so yeah, I'm more than happy to slip out the back door and run over to your place.
Do the old Irish goodbye. Just
yeah, get the Uber, just park around the
corner. One of those little electric scooters, just flat.
All right. Well, yeah. Watch this space. Join us if you don't like the commentary on wherever you watch it. Can't say that we're going to be any better. We'll be one-eyed as shit, but hey, there'll be some hooting and hollering going on. So, and then the biggest one is the grand final. Regardless of who makes it through, whether none of our teams or all of our teams or whatever, we'll be doing a live show from Cairns. We've got a nice little Airbnb, just a short little stroll from the casino. We'll peel ourselves off the felt and get ourselves in front of a camera, and we'll watch that one. We'll watch the NRLW and the NRL as well. So testing out a couple of live shows, which could be a little bit of a preempt of what we could expect next year. We'll just get some experience under the skin before we head into that. All right, we'll get into the business end of this one. We'll go through the injury and the judiciary list before we get into what we think is going to be the team. Obviously, we know we're coming up against the Panthers. Shout out to the NRLW as well. They'll be going up against the Knights at Suncorp. I believe 1:15 will be kickoff. Okay. Let me confirm that while we are on live air here. Yeah, 1:15 kickoff, Suncorp Stadium, second versus third for the preliminary final to go straight through to the grand final there. And then the boys kick off at around 4:30 or something like that. So if you're in and around Brisbane, get down to Suncorp, get the Cauldron heaving. Let's get them over in support. Mr. Davis, the crowd announcer, he has been nominated by the NRL to be there. So it's kind of not going to be neutral ground as much as it is a home ground already. Everything around it's supposed to be neutral, but with Ben there, I don't think it will be. Injuries. So Hayes is there. Hayes has signed another season with us, which is good. He only got a sort of run in that trial, so it's good to see that they've persevered with him and they're going to give him another crack. Jack Goz. Now, he's had surgery on the collarbone. And I've got Season here next to his name with a big, massive fucking question mark because that boy was on the team list the other day.
Yeah, I know.
In the extended bench. So, anyway, we'll see what happens there. Ben Decora. Could we see him this week? He has been running around from what I've heard. However, he did have a foot injury. So fitness would be an issue, I dare say. He didn't make it back for the last rounds of the Host Plus. So he's got no game there. Xavier Wilson, now broken arm. His fitness would be tip-top. Absolutely nothing stopping him from getting on the treadie and whatnot, running the opposed sessions as well. Interesting enough, they didn't send him back either into the Host Plus when he did come back. But Adam Reynolds confirmed he will be playing from all male, coming from everywhere. He's back from that hamstring. Selwyn Cobbo played on the weekend. He got through 81 minutes. Didn't really do too much, but he did 16 runs. I believe it was, had 42 post-contact, 15 tackles, 0 missed, made 2 errors. Unfortunately, Wynnum Manly went down to the North Devils, getting into their grand final. So we do have Burleigh Bears versus the North Devils there in the grand final next weekend for those guys. And then Ezra Mam is probably the biggest question mark, because there has been reports that he has been running and he is ready to go, but Madge has not actually come out and confirmed like he has with Cobbo and like he has with Renault. So he is either going to be a massive headache, or the decision could be made for Madge pretty easily, depending on what his fitness is. Paddy Carrigan will be out for this game. He pled guilty for the first offence of a grade 2 high tackle careless. Ringer's shaking his head because he's seen a lot of them go unpunished.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
So anyway, same ref too, we might want to point out today. Anyway, we'll move on from there before we get too angry. Reece Walsh got hit with a grade 1 striking, second offence, pled guilty, $3,000 fine, and then got hit with a grade 1 contrary conduct, second offence, pled guilty there and had a 1.8K fine. So he is free to play, which is great. Great news for that. We'll move into some interesting stats. Langos, you want to take us off with the one that you found, mate?
Yeah. I was just sort of doing a little bit of research just in, how the Broncos have done after a week off this season. And I don't know if alarming is the right word, but you would assume that after a bye, you would roll into a W pretty easy. You've had a week off, like the fresh legs, you've had an extra week to, hash out sort of any issues or, kinks in the armor sort of thing. But so we've had 3 byes this season and we're 1 out of 3. So we've won 1 and we've lost 2. Not great.
Gross.
Round 12, we had a bye. Then in round 13, we lost to Manly 34-6. Just shocking after a bye. And then that obviously was our little period where we just sort of lost every fucking game we went up against, unfortunately. Then in round 15, we had another bye. Round 16, we beat the Sharks 34-28. And then in round 20, we had that bye. We had the old, cruise ship, not ship, but, the whole cruise, saga. And then in round 21, we lost to the Eels 22-20. So we're 1 from 3, and we've obviously got a bye. Well, I've got a week off, not a bye this week. Yeah, hopefully we can go 2 from 4. But I just thought it was a little bit sort of bit how you going, being 1 from 3 after byes. I probably should have done a bit more of a deep dive to see how the rest of the teams sort of went after their byes this season. But I was just sort of the opinion that you have your bye and it sort of really sets you up for the next week. So, but not the case for the Broncos this season. So I don't know. I'm not reading into it too much, Thoroughbred. So hopefully you shouldn't either. But from that, I did see another little bit of an encouraging stat. And look, we've said we're 1 night, so we will continue that trend. And Nathan Cleary, he has never won a finals match in Suncorp against the Broncos ever. Look how many he has played. Irrelevant. Right? We're not focusing on that. We're focusing on the fact that he's never won ever. So We will take that. We will take those stats and we will hold on to them most dearly.
Mate, I'm sure that 2017 loss down up there at Suncorp is absolutely burning in his brain as he comes into this week.
Yeah.
Don't put me in, coach.
I lost it once 8 years ago.
What about you, Ringer, mate? What have you got there?
Yeah, mate, I was just trying to look through what our conversion rate has been, when we get to a prelim, because obviously early Broncos dominated the competition. So we've been in the grand final 8 times, obviously, and lost 2. Unfortunately, the most recent 2, both in quite typically contenders for grand finals of all time.
Yep.
That we've lost. We're due for one to come our way. But since the NRL era, we've played in 10 prelims and we've won 5, right? So, but 4 out of those 5 wins in prelims have made at 13 plus. So we're at 80% 13 plus when we win a prelim. So just a quick note on that one for the Thoroughbreds. So if we're a 50-50 on history. We're a 50-50 shot at winning the prelim, and then 80% chance we would do it by 13 plus. So do with that what you will. And the thing too, you'll notice is that a few of these teams that we did lose to end up going on to win. So it's not a bad effort. So you got to look at history. History doesn't mean too much, especially when you're coming up against a 5-peat bloody potential in the Panthers. Like, all stats look bad when you're playing that team because they have good stats against every bastard. But the fact that we've had these losses now, and the way this team's playing, I don't think we're going to see a Bulldog style capitulation. I hope not, but it seems like they're hungrier than that.
Definitely.
Yeah, mate. And with Madge being there, so obviously the Demons of 2023 was under the Walters era, and Madge has come in. He'd be well aware. I mean, he took over the New South Wales Blues. Obviously, there's some demons there, going up against Queensland, and you've got the Kiwi job that he did, and he did a number on the Australian team. There would have been demons there, sort of thing. So I think he knows how to handle the demons of a team from an era when he wasn't there. And just the way that he's got them playing, just tear them a new arsehole is all. They will play structured. We know what Penrith will do. They'll come out, they'll be meticulous, they'll play for 80 minutes. They did it. They did clock off for about 5 minutes today. Yeah. But anyway, they also rested a few players when they could. But one thing that I've seen, and talking about demons, it's not all good stats, as Ringer just said. The last time we beat the Panthers was in round 1 of 2023 by 1 point. Okay, that was a 12-13 victory. I believe it was either in their stadium or it was out in one of the rural ones or whatever it was. But they'd also just come off of a World Cup loss. They, whatever.
Yeah, club
it was
challenge
that sort of stuff. And then you got to go back to 2019 round 22, 2018 round 19, where we won back-to-backs. One of them was notably, obviously, 50-18, but that was before their sort of dominant period. But there was a lot of the players that are still there playing in that game as well. So not good if you look at it from that point of view. However, the way that we have been playing the last 2 months, I would say it's a completely different team to what started this year. We went down to them, and we'll get to it in a little bit more detail, but we went down to them in round 9. That's right at that pointy end where we started to fucking just head down sort of thing. So I don't know. I wouldn't call this an ambush if we do win, when we do win. It's just got a different vibe to it altogether sort of thing. I think Madge will have the lads pretty keen to bury the demons. And no doubt that'll be the message this week. So anyway, we'll get on to what we believe. We'll discuss the team list, not what we believe. What we'll do here, Thoroughbreds, is we'll call out like the back five, talk about them, who do we see playing where.
Yeah.
Then we'll have a look at their opposition, and we'll have a look at a couple of matchups and go off there. So obviously we've got Broncos, Walsh, Karapani, Staggs, Shibasaki, Mariner. That is the incumbent team at the moment. There is obviously the thing of Cobbo. Where does he fit? Who drops out? So I will throw to you first, Langers, mate. Who do you have in your back five for this game?
Yeah, like obviously you got Reece Walsh. He's obviously going to be fullback. Let's be real.
Yep.
I think your two centers, they're locks, Staggs and Shibba. They're sort of locks. I guess the question marks are definitely your wingers, with Cobbo apparently being fit. You know, like all chat from the social medias is saying that Cobbo is going to play. Obviously, 18th man he's got to be match fit for 18th man, obviously. So, you know, that could be where Cobbo ends up. But yeah, like, you know, if Cobbo does take the field, then who drops out, Karapani or Mariner? You know, like he would probably replace Mariner because it's on the right side. But do you want to drop Mariner? You know, like it's one of those sort of things. And then, you know, it would also guess like who are they opposing as well? You know, like Toto will be on that side. Yes.
Yeah.
So, you know, do you want Cobbo versus Toto or do you want Mariner versus Toto? So, you know, like I would probably go Mariner over Toto. But then, you know, you got the high kicks that maybe Cobbo can get, you know, kick to the corner on the fifth, and Cobbo's obviously going to have the height advantage over him. So, you know, maybe that might be something that they've been working towards. But yeah, like you'd think your back five will be mostly the same. Maybe Cobbo might be in there, but like definitely a centers, definitely a fullback. And I would say he would go to, if Cobbo's going to play, he would go to 5 and not 2. So Karapani will be in there, and then yeah, number 5 will either be Mariner or Cobbo. And I'm going to stick with Mariner. I reckon. I think we'll put Cobbo at 18.
Okay. What about you, Ringer, mate?
Yeah, mate, I've got a theory on the whole Cobbo race to fitness thing. Is that I wouldn't change the back five. Okay, so that's we'll get that out of the way. I wouldn't change. I reckon Mariner, the speed, because Toto's going to be a fucking handful. Like he's the best winger probably to ever play the game. Up speed can help, you know, get up in his face. If they catch us on the outside, speed gets you there, so you at least put pressure on him. I know Cobbo's got a bit, but it's a bit more wind-uppy, especially in defence. Like laterally, he's not as good. But I think my theory on why they're racing Cobbo back into contention for the side is that Reece Walsh is one stray arm away from being suspended. And they need a fullback option. If you know, God forbid, something was happened to Reece. And obviously, we know now that if we get through this game unscathed, we're either going to have on the opposition left-hand side Xavier Coates or Ronaldo Mulatalo. So
yeah,
I think that they're sort of bracing. I don't think they'll change it this week because he's had a big 81 minutes game just now. I reckon they give him a week off and then flog him, you know, make sure everything's tested and sweet and play 18th man for us this weekend. And then he might come in to try and mitigate one of those great big fucking leapers that'll be on the left-hand side of whatever opposition if we make it through. So that's my theory, because I think it'd be very harsh to drop someone for a Sally Cobbo who, don't forget, we were tearing fucking strips off when he was playing a few games. Like, he had a great game when he first come back, but, you know, we weren't exactly his biggest fans there for a while. So I think it'd be pretty unfair to drop Dean Mariner on the current situation, especially to a team that's going to be disrupted already with every other change that's going to happen.
Yeah. All right. Well, it sounds like we're pretty in agreement there. We've got Cobbo at 18th man. We're running Walsh, Karapani, Staggs, Shibasaki, Mariner. I'll say my piece on the back five before we get into their opposition. So we've, pretty handily been glazing Reece. So why not add a little bit more here? What I've written down is, and what I've had a thought about during the week is that I won't say that Reece is doing, he's the greatest fullback, that chat. He's got a few more things to go. Origin, we've got a premiership and all that. However, he is doing some very unique things as a fullback that I've picked up that none of the others are currently doing or have done. So you've got, obviously, Turbo will hurt you. He's got second phase play, right? That's where Turbo gets you. Tedesco, line breaks, tackle breaks. That's what he's all about. He used to have his acceleration that you were really nervous about in and around the play. So pure grit, hammer, pure speed, ponga, snap your ankles. We've got Reece kicking 40-20s for fun, and his ball handling, I would say, is like second to none other sort of fullback sort of thing. So maybe Drinkwater. Like, how do we go? Like, Drinkwater would have to be up there with ball playing. Sort of thing.
Definitely. Well, he can't do anything else.
Snake, shoulders like a snake. But like last weekend, 16 points down, he comes out within 15 minutes. He shaved that down to absolutely nothing. You could say single-handedly, because Ben Hunt at that point of the game looked like he was in no man's land, just absolutely lost, sort of thing, for a few plays there. He did the 2 40-20s in one game, which is unreal for this day and age, sort of thing. If he had got the conversions from the tries that he set up all scored, it's game over at the 80th minute.
Yeah, exactly.
So, just a little bit of glaze there thrown on. Then with the others, we've got Stags being ever aggressive. It's going to be very interesting to see. I know Casey picked up. He'll be on Casey's side, won't he? Casey and Toto's. Is that no? Yes. So, so that'll be interesting to see how we go there. Shiba, he's had like the week off. He had an up and down game during the Raiders game, but like he's back into the groove, sort of thing. We've got Twinkle Toes in Mariner. Like you said, the speed there, like he did with the Raiders. They might catch us out, but he's got the speed to do the intercept or shut the play down before it gets out to Toto. Not like we seen Galvin today give Toto 3 acres of space and let him stroll over in the corner there. So
exactly.
But I know what you said about Cobbo. I do think he needs to be at 18th man.
Yeah.
Just, I don't know, just to be there, sort of things. And I think it's great signs if Cobbo is back into that sort of chat. I think that's Madge doing his thing again. Who knows? Polishing something to go after the Dolphins. Dolphins will be really interested to see what happens anyway. Anyway, they'll be coming up against Edwards, Alamotti, Targo, McLean, who had a hit pointer, picked up a bit of a hit pointer, but according to NRL physio, he should be right to play next week. And Toto, the ever-reliable Toto. Edwards, I don't know, can't say he's had the best season, and I still don't think he's back to his best. I think, if anything, he's consistently sitting at the level that he's been sitting at, but he's not at the level that we've seen Edwards at. So that'll be Alamotti's fucking big game player, unfortunately. And McLean, I don't know, he's been a bit off as well. So, Ringer, I'll go to you, mate. How do you see, what's a good matchup, you reckon?
Well,
or have we got them all?
Well, obviously, Broncos podcast, we've got them right across the field. But I think our centers are consistently better. Casey McLean's a young man and he's not as big, and he did get found out by Jacob Preston, even though the Bulldogs looked like they couldn't run shape. They looked like they were still in play school the way they were trying to fucking run shape today, running over the sideline and shit. So I think that's going to be a big day, big target for us is both edges. Targo's a good defender, but Shiba's such a big body, he's going to have to get help from Nathan which then opens up for
Yep.
offloads, for space. They are going to be worried. But I don't think Shib is going to see much ball because we will be running a lot at Sorensen, Casey McLean, and what's their 5/8 name? Blaze Talangi. That's where they definitely looked weaker today, even though the Bulldogs were fucking terrible. So, I can imagine Katoni being an absolute fucking handful there. But yeah, so across the board, I think our centres have been consistently better. Katoni's going to play rep footy. I think he's even in contention for bloody centre of the year the way he's playing. So yeah, I think that's where we got him. We definitely have him for speed. And Mariner especially are lightning compared to their backs. So, there's going to be gaps open up. And if we can take advantage and hold the pill, I think we're going to reap some rewards out wide if we can, hold the ball and stick to a good game plan.
What about you, Langus, mate?
Yeah, I'm basically just going to mirror what the ringer said. Really, can't disagree with the man. He brings facts. He brings them hard. Karapani and Alamotti, I think that's going to be a pretty good matchup.
Yeah.
Alamotti is Alamotti, and Karapani, he's been doing really good things since he's come into the sides. I think that'll be a really good matchup. Like two bigger sort of wingers, I think Karapani will be able to handle Alamotti. Like Alamotti, he's probably one of the
thick boy
of wingers that you sort of see these days. So, Karapani, he's a big boy, so he'll be able to help. But I think Stags is where our sort of key, like obviously Walsh. Like Walsh is our attack weapon. Hopefully the Panthers won't have anything to just shut him down. Obviously, that's probably going to be their game plan. It's going to be, it should be every team's game plan. If they're going to play the Broncos, game plan number one, shut down Reece. Like it's as simple as that.
Exactly.
So if Reece does get shut down, then you obviously need those other people to stand up. And I think Stags will be that our answer, I guess, to that sort of little problem, mate. What about you? Talk to me.
Mate, I seen Talangi sneak up and shot Burton today. I want him to do that on Stags on the weekend.
Right.
I think that might cause that, or you'll piss him off to the point where he won't leave you alone for the rest of the game. I think I reckon Stags is going to be huge. He's going to be up and about. He'll probably make us want to run through a brick wall with the way that his mannerisms will be. Fucking worried about Toto though. I just hope that Dean's on it. Toto's Toto. He's going to do you just need to get into his space. Like he's going to make meters. He's going to do whatever. Just don't give him extra. He's going to make post-contact meters, I should say. Like that's just going to happen. But just don't give him space to run. Otherwise he'll fucking burn us every day of the week. So I'm really going to be interested to see how Mariner takes on that task. Karapani runs like a man possessed, so it will be fun to watch him and Alamotti go up against it. And I think Shibba takes care of Targo comfortably. I've got pretty good confidence in Gamat there on that edge. So it will be interesting to see, and we'll get to him, how Liam Martin pulls up, because he'll be running up against Shibba there. So, interesting times ahead, especially when it comes to the second row battle, which we'll get to. Now, 6s and 7s. We're obviously going up against Nathan Cleary, the greatest ever club player to do it. And then we got Blaze, who staggered a bit at the start of the season. I don't think the Panthers were quite up there. They were like, this sort of shocked us. He's not that ready as what we thought he was, but he has come good in the back half to a point. He's not, I don't think he is where they want him to be, but he has been doing some really good things in defense and attack. So it'll be interesting that he's ever dangerous. But who do we have playing? I just said that we've got Reynolds. There is a big question mark on Ezra Mann, whether he's fit or not. We've been winning without him. Reece has obviously gone to another level. It seems that Hunt is very good at giving him a little bit of rain, bringing him back in, doing all those good things to keep him in check. Where are we going? I've got Mam and Reynolds. That's it on my list here. If they're fit and ready to go, Mam purely for the X factor. I'd imagine he'd want to bury some demons from 2023 as well, considering he was 12 minutes away from a Clive Churchill, with a hat trick of tries. But Langers, who do you have at your 6? Who do you have at your 7?
Yeah, like I was saying for multiple weeks that, don't fix what ain't broke sort of mentality. But now that Billy Walters is broke, it does sort of change things up a little bit, doesn't it? But in saying that, Benny Hunt, he wasn't convincing against the Raiders. Like not as convincing as what he has been in the previous weeks while Mam and Reynolds were injured. So if we're talking everybody's fit, then it would be hard to go past Mam and Reynolds as your 6 and 7. Hunt at 6, yes, there is a little bit of understanding, a little bit of chat around it, but I just don't know if the old heads are what we need now when they haven't played together, they haven't gelled, coming up against Nathan Cleary's gameplay, his kick play, all of that sort of stuff. So, and yeah, like you said with Mam, obviously he's got something to prove. He was minutes away from the highest honor in NRL sort of things.
Yeah.
So yeah, if everybody's fit, everybody's firing, and hopefully they're fully fit. They're not just like, oh, I'm at 80%, coach, put me in, sort of thing, because we don't need that sort of shit. Like if you've done your hammy, you need that to be fully healed, fully ready to go, because in this game against the Panthers, you're going to be putting your hammy through the paces. So the last thing we need is to put anybody in there that's not fit, and then 20 minutes in, they blow their hammy and then they're done, sort of thing. And that definitely goes for Reynolds as well. So, but yes, if everybody's fit, then I would go Mam and Reynolds, mate. Same as you.
Fucking nervous times ahead for this selection. Like you said, if you're going to go in and then bust your hammy 20 minutes in, you're doing no one favors.
Exactly.
So, like you need to be good to go for the full 80 and then some. So, Ringer, mate, speak to me. What are you doing? 6s and 7s?
We're all at 6s and 7s. We're all at C with this selection, aren't we? Because of the headache that poor old Billy give us. But I find it hard to believe that Ezra's going to be right, because like even physio and that said he had a high hamstring strain, which is worse than a normal whatever Reynolds had. And I think it's a huge risk. Like Langer said, what's the point of playing for 20 minutes and then when you need an effort, when there's a break or something, you go down. And then we're playing 60 minutes with a patched up. So, Reno was pretty much right to go last week from all accounts, but didn't because, they wanted to hold off. I can't see the point in rushing him back when, and I understand how good he is, and I do, and I know he gives Penrith nightmares on what we could do to them, but is that worth losing him if something goes wrong? And let's be honest, he wasn't setting the fucking world on fire when he come back anyway. So there's always that. So for me, just to keep a bit of continuity, and this is probably going to change 10 times before kickoff, but at the moment I'm going Reynolds on the right, Hunt on the left, Pake, and there's 6 and 7. They, like you said, Hunt's been so good at unlocking Reece, and Reno coming back cold might be just handy to have that foil there in Benny Hunt, just to sort of keep him honest. And because Benny doesn't give a fuck, he's giving everyone a spray when they're not going so good. Like he's been very vocal. So yeah, just for the fitness factor, that I'd hate to bring someone back to just fuck up for no reason. That's why I'm going Hunt and Reno, mate. And
yeah, no, it's fair. And
I'm torn, but that's what I'm going.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But it
and I
makes
can
sense though. Like sorry, but
you
like
go.
if Mam isn't fit, then Hunt straight in at the 6
Yeah.
for all those reasons that you just said. Like that's the obvious option, and then obviously you change up your 9 and your 14 roles. But yeah, fuck, I'd want to be fucking fit, boys. Like if they're gonna be
Proper.
fucking Donovan jerseys, I want to be fucking fit.
And that's I can see an argument for both. Like if everyone is fully fit, Ezra Mam, let the young fellas go. Just let Walsh and Mam do their thing. Throw it down like that. If he's not and Hunt's there, we've had Billy Walters there for the last couple of rounds. He's not a speedster. So for all the people, I have heard a lot of chat like, oh, well, if Ezra's there, he can keep up with Hunt. Well, Billy Walters isn't keeping up with Walsh sort of thing. Like, so, you know, we've played like that before. So having Hunt at 6, I think is and he knows, it looks like he's figured out Walsh. And so while he's out there, he can, you know, lend a hand to Renault and be like, nah, let him go. Or Walsh, we're overcalling you. We're not doing this. We're going this way, sort of things. Yeah, I'm fucking not a head coach, so I'll leave it. I'll leave it at that. Perfect world, I run Mam still, but 100% fitness needs to be achieved, sort of things. We'll do 9 now by itself then. So obviously this is going to be a bit different here, but I've got Hunt at 9. What have you got, Langers? You got Hunt. Is that what you've got at 9 there?
No, I've got Pakesy at 9. I'll like if we're putting Mam at 6 and Reynolds at 7, then I would put Pakesy at 9 purely for his tackling. I think Hunt does have that tendency to miss a few tackles where Pakesy just seems to stick him, you know, like we go through their stats every week and Hunt's always got a couple of missed tackles. Whereas Pakesy, he's racking plus 30s, maybe missing one sort of thing. So I think just purely because of that, and obviously Pakesy's pill delivery, you know, like Hunty doesn't have bad pill delivery, but if you're picking the two just for pill delivery, you're picking Pakesy over Hunty. Let's be real. So yeah, for 9, mate, I've got Pakesy and I've got Hunt on the 14 if Mam and Reynolds are playing.
Yeah, sweet, fair enough. Ringer, what about you? What have you got?
Yeah, mate, I'm going down the same route. If they do bring Ezra back, Hunt goes to 14 for me, just because, much like the Langers said, let Pakesy take the shit work of the game. Pakesy's not going to play 14 and come on and make a difference for you because he's not a running hooker. He's purely a tackling machine, and his service is impeccable. He gets us on the front foot. We went through the phase of Hunt at 9, and we were faltering because the passes just weren't as crisp. And like, I don't think Pakesy gets enough compliments on when we are going good. It's because those they're so confident that ball's hitting them exactly where they want it when we're racing upfield, that, you know, that's one less thing for them to think about. So there's a million combinations though, isn't there? So if Ezra plays, you know, if Ezra plays, then I'd go Hunty to 14. But if Ezra doesn't play, Hunt plays 6, and then it's just Pakes at 9, Tyson Smoothy at 14, as we've been sort of going along. So I actually heard another one where they're saying, oh, you just play Ezra Mam at 14, which is fucking wild. But anyway, you know, it takes all sorts, I suppose. So this is going to be the biggest teamless Tuesday ever for me. That's for true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will be hanging on bated breath. I've got Hunt there purely because I think Mam is going to play. So I've got Hunt, but let's be honest, all the facts that you guys just brought up, very solid argument as to why you would have him on the bench. If I did have him on the bench, you could look at not him coming on for Pakesy as such, but he could come on for Reynolds if he needed to. You swap the 300-plus gamer out for the 300-plus gamer. We've got a Tyson Smoothie lurking around that could come in for Pakesy if he needed a blow, sort of thing. So there is that as well. They'll be going up against Mitch Kenny, who did come back. He did make it back from that his own hamstring injury, and they did rest him. They iced him early, so no doubt they'll be keeping tabs on him. He'll be ready to go. He's an absolute dog. See a little chip or grubber that he put in for a good try
100.
today. He makes me nervous, that lad. You don't really hear much about him, but he's just a dog, and he just gets through all the shit work. So he'll be a bit of a handful. The front row, Corey Jensen, I've got with Payne Haas up against Leota and Smith. So in this one, I think Jensen needs to go. So Payne Haas is Payne Haas. He is his own thing, right? As far as I'm concerned, I reckon Leota looks over and goes, holy fuck, it's Payne Haas. I don't think it's the other way around. And I want Payne to have that mentality that he is the alpha out on that field, sort of thing. So I want Jensen to absolutely go at Leota. Just a man on a mission, just get in his face, shut him down. Leota's very good at the defensive side. He makes obviously some good runs. He's got a good offload on him. But you see him today just go to work in defense. It was quite incredible to watch. So, I would like sort of Jensen to have a bit of a beef with him, I guess you could say, make it personal sort of thing. And then Payne, just do Payne things. Like Smith's been doing really good this year, obviously, as they all do over there. They all know their role. But Payne could skittle some players at will during this game. So I think that carrot of that premiership will, if anything, take him up another level, which is scary to think about. But do we have any changes here, or do you just want to chat about this sort of matchup? Ringer, mate, I'll throw to you. What are your thoughts?
Oh, well, this is where we start looking. If you're going to be fair dinkum, even with Paddy out, like Payne's, like you said, head and shoulders above. And Corey Jensen is a job doer. His form has been slightly, he's been at a 7.5 out of 10 instead of an 8.5, which he usually just like bottoms out as.
Yep.
So I expect after a week off, Corey, because he did come back from injury not that long ago, I think Corey would have enjoyed that week off, and I'm expecting big things from him because, like you said, if Corey can take it to him and lay a platform, we've got Payne who's going to absolutely annihilate some halves and some, out wide if we get the opportunity. And terrifyingly, he's without Patrick there to sort of temper him. I think he's going to fucking go ham. So we hope so, because that's how we win a game if Payne's going forward. But yeah, obviously, I think the two props, however we line up, I think we've definitely got the ascendancy there, especially if Corey can find a little bit of that extra form where he was really muscling up in the middle for us.
Yeah, 100%. What about you, Langus, mate?
Yeah, man. Oh, yeah. Well, you put Corey Jensen at 8 for sure, and obviously Payne Haas. Hopefully, the old ankle is healed up. We haven't sort of heard any sort of chat on that at all. Like no mind games. Like, oh, he might not play. Like none of that. He's just like Payne Haas is just doing Payne Haas sort of things, even when he's not playing the game. So, as much as this game will definitely revolve around Walsh being like the key, our wins come off Haas, like doing Haas shit. Like, the game plan will be to shut down Walsh for sure, but I mean, how do you shut down a bloke like Payne? What, are you going to put half the team on one person? Like, it's just not going to happen. Payne will more often than not produce ridiculous stats that the average man can only sit and admire. Hopefully this Sunday is no different. Hopefully that ankle is tip top. There's no sort of lingering sort of things, because ankles, they have that tendency to just take a little bit longer to heal fully, like, yep, you're good, but you're at 80%, you're not at 100, because one little side step or, someone steps on your ankle and just flares back up immediately sort of thing. So hopefully he's ready to go because, like if we're going to win, it's going to be coming off Payne Haas's just running up the middle, tiring the defenders, having 3-4 Panthers having to tackle him every single time, hopefully getting that arm free, getting an offload out. So, Corey Jensen, he does his job, like what the Ringer said, he's not blowing, hair off people or anything like that, but he's not a hole that we desperately need to fill, like he can do his job, he can do it well. And then, that leaves potentially Big X to come on if he is fit as well to, relieve the tired big fellas to just keep that train rolling with the big fellas doing big hit ups sort of thing. So, mate, I'm the same as you. Got Jensen and Haas doing their roles, mate.
That's it. Hopefully Jensen can find that quick play the ball as well. Hit his front, and Payne can do good work off that sort of thing. So that leads us to the second rowers. Now, from all accounts, Brendan Piakura, he did have a facial fracture. He didn't fly back with the team after the Raiders. He had to drive home. Would have been a lovely little scenic route for him, but he is being cleared to play after speaking to a specialist. No doubt he'll probably be wearing the headgear from all accounts. So, and then Jordan Ricky, I'm so stoked with Pretty Ricky. He's in that Raiders game. It did some unreal numbers, and I'll probably get them back up again just to repeat them over. But got through some absolute shit work, tooling away sort of thing. And they're going up against Sorensen and Martin. So Martin, we all know is a dog, and who Martin's going to be on whose edge? Piakura.
He's going to be on Piakura,
no doubt. That's going to be incredible. Yeah, that's going to be fucking fireworks. I hope. Langers, mate, what do you reckon there? I mean, we're pretty I'm assuming that we all think he's the incumbent, both of them.
Yeah.
But how do you think it's going to go?
Yeah, like if Piakura is ready to roll, then you're obviously going to put him in there. Jordan Ricky, that's a cemented spot for him. Martin versus Piakura is going to be great.
Yeah.
It will either end in someone getting absolutely folded or punches thrown. Hopefully we can see Piakura just be the fucking psycho that he is and just line up Liam and just absolutely crease the lad. Like that would be so good to witness because
I'd love it.
No one likes Liam, eh? Like even his mum had to struggle to say that he's a good kid, like no one likes him. So having Piakura just line him up and just fold him like a deck chair would just be cinema for me. And I bet it'll be for cinema for about 1,000 plus other thoroughbreds as well. So I think everybody will happily wrap around that. Hopefully Piakura doesn't do shit that he does do in the past because he is a psycho. So here's a little bit of a loose cannon, a little bit of a question mark, a little bit prone to getting the old HIA as well. So, you don't really need him, coming into tackles a bit skew-if and copping a hip or an elbow or whatever and seeing him going for the game, creating a hole that we need to fill. So hopefully he's on one. But obviously, if everybody's fit, Piakura and Ricky, mate, for sure.
What about you, Ringer, mate?
Yeah, I think that exactly right. We need Brendan to be aggressive but controlled because we can't afford to be trying to plug holes against Cleary because you know what, he'll find that weakness, the little prick. But in saying that, he's going to be essential for us to put Cleary on the back foot per se, to be running hard on that edge, targeting that half. He is devastating when he's on one. We've seen that this year in glimpses. We just need him to put it together for 60 or 70, 80 minutes to really be a threat because Liam Martin's going to be chirping him. We know this. Liam's a fucking dog. And he loves to get in the face and loves to alpha the fuck out of who he's playing. So surely Madge is getting Brendan ready for that. Whereas Jordan Ricky on the other side, Jordan gets about his work. I think he dominates Sorensen. Sorensen's got pretty good footwork, pretty big body. They're quite similar physique, I would suppose, but runs on the board I think Pretty Ricky has got him shot to bits if we can, get him some
Yeah.
good ball on that edge. Great quick play the ball, get through his work. So, yeah, I'm pretty happy that Pretty Ricky's going to do a great job on that edge.
Yeah, I think Sorensen for me is too big for his role.
He is a big boy. He is a big boy.
Fuck, he's a thick boy for a second rower. He got found out a couple of times today. Galvin and Preston turned him inside out a few times there. So hopefully we can see a bit of that. And just to highlight Ricky again, so last weekend he went 94 minutes, 17 runs for 166 metres, 63 post contact, got through 47 tackles. With 2 missed, 3 ineffective, so 90% tackle efficiency and 0 errors in a high-pressure game. So, yeah, work rate, Ricky has got Sorensen dusted. Pia Cora running at Nathan Cleary as he goes to kick the ball. I can see shades of Lukey Metcalf up against the Warriors there, where he basically ended his career with that shot. With that well-timed shot, I'll say. So hopefully he can get in there and disturb Cleary a bit and upset him. Martin, yeah, in his face, but let's test them ribs out like he did test 100. Out Jerome Hughes. So, yeah,
and
let's see how good the...
yeah,
I'm gonna hurt them ribs.
Don't fucking use stand in a tackle anywhere near me because I'm kind of annihilate. Okay.
See how good them needles were before you ran out. All right, here's one where I'm just gonna wave the white flag when it comes to us getting dominated. We got the 13 rolls. Yo up against what I will assume will be Kobe Hetherington is who I've got at 13, purely based off of because of how we started the season. I'm happy for you guys to throw down any other name and state your case for that one, but Hetherington up against Yo. Yo is Patrick Carrigan, but wearing a Panthers jersey, basically.
Yeah.
As far as I can see, like it's going to be really interesting when the reps are called out, who's playing where. But hopefully Hetherington can just get in there, do his job. We've got, we lose Patrick, yes, but if we gain Reno and Mam, he doesn't really need to do the ball playing, and either or of that sort of stuff. So, yeah, Ringer, what do you got? Who you got at 13, mate, going up against him?
Yeah, because Kobe's the obvious choice, and he'll do a job. We know what Kobe's like. He's just going to put his head where most people won't put their fucking feet and just, attack with his shoulders pretty much. Yo's obviously, probably got him in all aspects, I'm guessing, but the dog and Kobe should be, wherever Yo goes, be in his face when he gets the ball, because we see that Panthers' whole shift, it does break down when there is pressure put on Isaiah Yo, because he's a great sort of a prop where if he has a run first attitude, well, he's fucking dangerous, and then he's a good ball player. But if you get him in that middle ground where he's trying to ball play but you rush him, they can get a little bit discombobulated. So I think that's going to be Kobe's sort of messaging, isn't it? Get out there, get in Yo's face, tackle everything that moves. We don't need you to make any meters. We'll leave that to our backs and our other 4 forwards. It's just up to you to tighten that middle up with Corey Pakes, which I think is going to be fucking deadly. We've seen it when they come on that middle can tighten up. The only curveball I have is the possibility with no Patrick Carrigan of Smoothie starting. Like, he'll still be probably, if depending on the 2 hookers if I think Smoothie still makes it into the 17, and you could put him on there just to be that different body shape, so that way when we lose Jensen and Payne to have a rest, we can put on Tolte and Kobe, and then that way it just locks up that middle, because Kobe's not a big minute player, so you're not going to get your Patrick Carrigan style minutes out of him, where you throw him on in bursts. I don't know. It's just something to think about, I think, for Madge, that Smoothie could do the same ultimate job as just tighten up the middle. We don't need you to run any middle meters. We just need you to tackle your dick off and get in Yo's face. And then, when Haas and Jensen come off, Tulty and Kobe go on, or Smoothie comes off and Kobe goes on. I think it's just sort of a better rotation somehow, that like you're not losing all your guns in one shift. So yeah, it'd be interesting, but everyone's hurt, so we haven't got that many bloody options there.
Yeah.
I fucking love that shout, actually. I think we have started Smoothie at some point. From what I can remember, he did. Yeah, it was a bit of a shock for everyone when the team list came out. Kobe stayed on the bench and sort of came on and did that hitman role and whatnot. So that's a pretty good shout for sure, I reckon. What about you, Langers?
Yeah, definitely disappointing not having Patrick Carrigan there, especially after the games that we've seen this weekend, where few of the exact same show happened and nothing happened to them. But yet, gets a week on the sidelines. A little bit shit there because, Patrick Carrigan coming up against Yo would have been a great matchup because, like what the Ringer said, they're basically the exact same person. So, Oh, sorry, you said that, bro. Well, you both said it, so, yeah. I do like that Smoothie shout, eh? I do like it,
I like that. Yep.
Hetherington can do a job. I'm a big fan of Kobe, and I think Manly are going to do really well with him when he goes there next year. Yeah. Yep. He did that for love, so,
Yeah.
That bitch better treat him right. I'll be down there fucking
exactly right. Yeah, exactly right. No, so you'd probably put Hetherington there as that sort of link up play, but like what you said, Ringer, that he doesn't need to be playing that role. He just needs to tackle his dick off, which he does. You look at the stats that Kobe puts up. Yes, he only plays half an hour, 35, maybe 40 minutes, but he puts through a lot of work in those minutes that he is on the field. He seems to be involved in everything. He can make a break. He can link up, get the offload on, get a good pass in. Yeah, there is definitely chat on why Hetherington should be the 13. Yeah, Smoothie at 13 is a fucking tantalizing, isn't it? Yeah, Tuesday's going to be interesting to see what happens. But I think if you're going to go off past sort of how things have rolled, I reckon probably Kobe will be 13. But I wouldn't be upset if I saw Tyson's name there.
Yeah, no, I'm almost tempted to change my team now to put Smooth in there, but I'll keep running with it. All right, so that's the run on. From what we can see, we'll see how we go on Tuesday. It's going to be huge. I'm so pumped. I'm pumped with Tuesday. Imagine what I'm going to be like when the actual game's about to kick off. Holy shit.
Yeah.
All right, we'll get to the super subs then. Now, I've got Tyson Smoothie at 14 is where I've put him. But then I've got Big X. I think if Big X is fit, I reckon he will be pumped for him. I know it's been a while. I know he's had a big, long stint on the sideline, but it's X. And we did ask at the beginning of the season that he stepped up. It did look like he was doing that. He was a bit of an injury fill-in, and then he held his own out there on the in the props as well. And then I've got Tulty and Jaden Hunt. However, with our chat there with the Smoothie and whatnot, Jaden may drop off, sort of thing to make way for whatever else that happens. But Smoothie, Willison, Tulty, Hunt is what I've got there. Langers, talk to me, mate. What do you reckon?
Yeah, well, obviously the interchange is going to be the biggest question mark depending on who we field for the run-on side. If what I've said with 6 Mam, 7 Reynolds, 9 Pakesy, then 14 will be Hunt. Then I think I agree with you with Big X. If he's fit, you'd be mad not to play that bloke because before he broke his arm, he was on fire, mate. He was putting up Payne Haas
Yeah.
stats and gameplay. You'd be mad not to put him on. Ben Tolte, we've all got a soft spot for that big fella. Love him. So you'd 100% put
I've
him
got a
if
hard
you
point
can.
for him. But anyway.
Soft spot and a hard spot.
Yeah. Yeah, so then that definitely leaves you 17. You know, do you do Jaden Hunt or do you do Tyson Smoothie? Or, you know, vice versa. If you're going to put Smoothie at 13, you'd put Kobe at 17. Yeah, you know, that would be your question mark. Yeah, so I would go, if my starting field was, you know, Kobe 13, Pakesy at 9, then I'd be Hunt 14, 15 Willison, 16 Tolte, 17 would be Smoothie. I like that. I like it.
What about you, Ringer, mate?
Yeah, well, I think it, due to injury concerns, I think if X is fit, how good would it be to see him back to create that extra punch in the middle? You'd reckon he would be absolutely fanging to get back on the field, let alone in a prelim. Ben Tolte, absolute fucking called it early. I think we'll chalk that up as a win for Penalty Broncos that we, you know, liked what we've seen from that recruitment. And then you've got to carry Jaden, I think, because of what happens with Piakura on a nearly weekly basis, whether he gets knocked out or head-eye someone or whatever. So, and honestly, Jaden played exceptionally well last week. He has come along in leaps and bounds. But yeah, so then it's the Smoothie Hetherington. What the hell happens there? And it's hard because we don't know how. There's so many combinations of what could happen with Hunt, Mam, Yates, you know, Reynolds, fucking who goes where. So one of them's going to be, I'd imagine, in 14, which would be Ben Hunt for me. So then, you know, and that's when I would probably drop. It's so hard whether I take Willison off just because, you know, match fitness, and then you just run a Smoothie, Hetherington, Tolte sort of vibe with Ben Hunt there, just because they're match fit. But then it's a small bench. So yeah, that's more why I'm leaning to having Smoothie as my run on 13, just to bolster that bench a bit, because I'm like a bench of Ben Hunt, Kobe Hetherington, Ben Tolte, and Jaden Hunt. I'd be fucking keen as shit on, just because they've been there, done that. You know what I mean? Like, and we know they're fit, and we know they can do a job, and then the rotation's a lot cleaner. But anyway, follow along, thoroughbreds, because God only knows what's going to happen Tuesday. We'll be fucking all made out to be dickheads.
And so if they run the same bench, I don't think Panthers are looking for anyone to come back. I think they're essentially full strength from what I can see. It is interesting that they're running Schneider at 14.
Yes.
I thought that was a weird. I thought there was somebody else that could come in for them, but they've got Schneider, Henry, Isaiah Papali'i's fucking growing a third leg right at the right end of the season, unfortunately. And then Garner at 17 with Laurie at 18 is what they ran out this week. I believe that it would be the same going forward. So I think with the whole Schneider, Henry, Papali'i is the only one. Like, everyone else does a job, obviously. Henry had a great game today, but Papali'i is about the only one that scares me. So I've just been doing a bit of twinking while you were chatting there, and I've now got, so I've changed me hookers out. Yeah, I've changed me hookers out. I've got Corey Pakes at run on hooker. That means Ben Hunt has dropped back. Hetherington at 15, Xavier Wilson 16, 17, Ben Tolte's fresh off a brand new extension on his contract, 2 years.
Yeah,
I think he'll be up and about, but Ben Hunt to me wipes out Brad Schneider. Kobe Hetherington over Liam Henry, Xavier Willison to go up against Isaiah Papali'i, and Ben Tolte to put one over Garner. I'm fucking hot and heavy for that one.
Yeah, exactly.
I reckon that'll be I reckon that'll be so. And then Dane Laurie up against a Selwyn Cobbo at 18. It goes without saying. So there, I think we've solved it all. Broncos 13 plus, Panthers dynasty never. Let us know, Thoroughbreds, in the comments. Send in your team list. How do you think Tuesday's going to go?
Please do, because
we'll
love
compare
going through that shit day just to see what they're going to say.
Yeah. Love seeing what rank selections the Thoroughbreds throw up that could come off. But, now as my team stands, we got Walsh, Karapani, Stagg, Shibasaki, Mariner, Mam, Reynolds, Jensen, Pakes, Haas, Piakora, Ricky, Smoothie, and then we go to the bench of Hunt, Hetherington, Willison, Tolte, 18th man, Cobbo. That is a shit-hot Brisbane Broncos squad, if I ever did see one. So, good shit there. Anything else, lads, on this game? Is there anything that you want to see? Anything that's standing out? Anything that you're nervous about? Ringer, I'll go to you first, mate.
Oh, nerves just because it's a prelim. I'm not nervous that we haven't got the cattle to win this game. Like, I'm not nervous about beating Penrith. I'm nervous about beating ourselves by trying to overthink the room with how we make these selections. Billy getting hurt is going to be, it's obviously cursed, but I mean, does it save some overthinking from fucking happening here? Like, that whoever's fit plays 6, whoever's not's not in the team. So, across the board, like we just went through, on this year's form, and we know the Panthers. We know what the Panthers are going to do. They're going to be suffocating. They're going to defend well, and they're not going to beat themselves. They're going to hold the pill. They're going to kick to the corners. And if you make a mistake and give them too much ball, they're going to punish you. So all things that we can fucking do in a heartbeat is drop the ball for fun. Like we know that. So we take that out of our game, and if we get in the arm wrestle with them, I don't think they can hang with it, to be fair. Like, meter-wise, they've got Cleary, which is, it's a big plus. But between Reno, Walshy, bloody Katoni, fucking, all these strike weapons, they definitely don't have the strike across the park. They've got Brian To'o and Nathan Cleary. Like, that's their strike, devastate you, get you from anywhere sort of players. So, one thing we have to not do is that, and I couldn't believe the Bulldogs kept doing this in the early stages in the grindy part, when they were running out of trouble, it was one off the ruck, running back into the A and B defenders behind the markers, just getting fucking pulverized for like 6 sets. And I'm like, dude, 2 passes, get away from that shit. Like, that's just, they're eating you for breakfast. That's what they love. So hopefully they've watched that today and gone, don't let them compress and just fucking bash you. Let's get 2 passes wide off the ruck when we're down at our own end. At least get the defense moving, because they were just eating that shit up today. So, and I honestly don't think we will, because our back 4, 5 are going to be far more dynamic and a lot, they're meter gainers, aren't they? Like, the Bulldogs fellas today definitely weren't. So, Staggs, Shibba, Mariner with that jink and run. Karapani runs his fucking heart out every time he takes the ball up. So, yeah, I just don't want us to fall into that sort of stuff, really. But across the park, if we complete between 77 and 85%, I think we do them comfortably. Just looking at how the Bulldogs scored points today, even though they were playing like fucking shit. So, like the true. Bulldogs still put 26 on them. Like, remember that.
Yeah. 100%. What about you, Langers?
Yeah, it's unfortunately, I think it's all going to revolve on whether Reece has a good game or not, eh? Like, that is an unfortunate thing. If Reece has a shit game, those 5 errors a game start creeping back in, I don't think we're going to be able to bounce back from that.
Yes.
So Reece, credit where credit is due, as we always say. He has been absolutely on one the last few games. So his form and his confidence. He is definitely a confidence player. So form and confidence through the roof, exactly how you want Reece to be playing. So hopefully that will continue on into this game. They're definitely going to be trying to shut him down. You'd be absolutely mad as a head coach or a captain to not be like, that bloke there, shut him down, and then we've got a chance, sort of thing. So you would imagine that would be the Panthers' game plan, to smother Reece, but Reece is fucking Reece. So, you try to smother him and then suddenly he's just zip-zagged around you and he's gone, sort of thing. So that'll be good. Cleary is, he's talked up a lot in the commentators, in the media, as just the best thing that, since sliced bread. And, fair enough. Like, he is a great player. You cannot deny that. If you hate the Panthers like I do, fine, but you can't deny that the bloke can fucking play footy. Yeah. So if we can shut him down, then I don't think I think the Panthers attack really sort of goes off what Nathan is going to do. And if we can shut him down, then it gives us just a massive advantage, because he is the shot caller and the decision maker, sort of thing. Whereas, if we've got Walsh, Reynolds, and possibly Hunt on the field at the same time, that's three options for fourth, fifth tackle kickers. Who does Panthers have? Talangi at a stretch. More often than not, it's going to go to Cleary. I know Mitch Kenny can maybe throw a ball on boot if need be. But you'd think on the fifth tackle, that ball is going to Cleary every single time. So, we do have that up our sleeve, that, if Benny is playing hooker role, then sees that space, sees that 40-20 opportunity from hooker, just grab that ball and just kick it, whereas Panthers don't have that. So, they're it's going to be a good game, and the way that the boys have been playing, they've been absolutely turning it on. It's been really, really good to see, especially as a Broncos fan. But I think it sort of sucks being a Broncos fan, because it just sort of seems like people are either fans of the Broncos or they just fucking hate them. And they don't give you the respect, or they don't give the Broncos the respect that they deserve if they don't like them. They just immediately hate them. So, you can't really turn too many people onto the Broncos. Like, their decision is already made up, sort of thing. So, hopefully everybody's fit. Obviously, that is going to be a question mark. We've sort of raised that a few times now. So hopefully everybody's fit, everybody's firing. It's a great opportunity to get us into the GF. Do it for Payne. If you can't do it for yourself, that boy deserves a ring. He absolutely does. So, it's going to be a good game, and hopefully the Panthers have to activate their 18th man, because they're just getting absolutely skittled left, right, and centre, mate. So Broncos 30 all day. It's too tasty not to throw your entire mortgage on it. So that's my responsibility. But do
it. No, I reckon if we get through this weekend, we winning the premiership is my thoughts, because honestly, if you talk to majority of people, who else can beat the Panthers? I don't see anyone on the other side coming up against them in a GF and putting one over them. So it's either us or nobody, sort of thing. So I think we'll get a lot of extra support this weekend, only for this weekend, because they want Panthers to lose more than what they want the fucking Broncos to win, sort of thing. So, but I just, for the first time in quite a while, I am not worried about Reece. I just that Raiders game for me, the fact that he got sent to the bin, came out collective, had his head on his shoulders and just took the game by the scruff and got us back into it. That was just, like you said, rocks and diamonds. He's a confidence player. He's in form. I would be tempted to be like, well, he's in that good of a form that he's confident enough that he can do whatever the fuck he wants. And like, no matter what happens, he's not going to drop that confidence. He's just going to be like a goldfish. Forget about it. Throw the same pass 2 sets later. Like, don't worry about it, sort of thing. So, and then that also led me to thinking, what's one thing that I don't want to happen to Reece? I don't want him to get folded. Who's the most likely person to fold him on that left edge of the Panthers? Liam fucking Martin, right? Like if Reece gives him any sort of foothold, he's going to fold him. So I was like, all right, well, what happens if Reece runs? What happens if he runs to the right? You got a big old body in Scotty Sorensen. You got Casey McLean, who's a young kid up against an absolute savage in Stags, and then you got Toto on the outside up against a twinkle toe Mariner. So I wouldn't be surprised if Reece starts running to the right in this game and just eliminating Martin altogether. Just don't take him out of the game by taking him out of the game, sort of thing. Like, let's not play the game around in his area. So, I reckon you're right, Ringer. 2 off the ruck, Mariner, Karapani, Stags, Shibashaki, all of them taking shit runs from trouble. Jensen and Payne skiddling, and then have Reece running out right and putting Stags up against Casey McLean, and Ricky as well, putting Ricky in there against Sorensen. So
exactly.
that's how I think we do it.
Sorry, a bit of a delay, but like you said, we run our big boppers. We run our bloody Picker and Payne half at Nathan and Martin as we're running our plays. Make Nathan tackle as much as possible, just to open up that other side of the field where we have Katoni just frothing at the mouth, blood coming out of his ears, just ready to, attack someone. And Reece, filing around Blaze Talangi, Scott Sorensen, really testing their resolve on that edge, because if Preston and Galvin, who couldn't, he didn't look like he could hit the back of a bloody barn with a shotgun today with some of the passes he was throwing. So if they could trouble them as much as they did, I think Ricky and Stags and Walsh are going to absolutely give them hell. And they're going to set up the other side, make Nathan and Martin tackle a lot. So I think you hit it on the head, mate.
Yeah, hopefully. Anyway, I think if we don't make mistakes, we can make a few, but if we hit our tackles and make limited errors, there's no way that the Panthers can go with us. Yeah. They've got their game plan, they'll stick to it, and it's up to us to defeat ourselves, and that's what they're very good at. They're very good at just getting through. They were 100% efficiency in their completion until about the 50th minute or something today. So, I think at one point there they were 21 out of 21 or something like that. So, they'll just grind you out of the game if you want to make errors. If we don't do it, I don't think they've got the defense to handle our attack. And I don't think they have the attack if we are good at in our defense, sort of thing. So anyway, we'll see how that goes. Hopefully I'm 100% right. So match preview, Broncos v Panthers, Sunday, 4:05 p.m. at Suncorp Stadium. We are in finals, so we are 4 games we've had against the Panthers. They've won 3. That included that GF final, unfortunately, of 2023. We've had the 1 win in 2017. This is 4th up against 7th. Just a cheeky dig at the Bulldogs again. The Bulldogs should have swapped their positions for this game. It should have been the Panthers were sitting in 3rd and the Doggies were sitting in 7th. This season, Panthers are on 57%. They've gone the long way about it. 15 out of their 26 games. That includes last week and this week, I believe. And then we are 16 out of 25, 64% for that. Premiership odds. Melbourne somehow are the favourites to take out the premiership. They're in at $2 something, $2.80. Panthers are $3.10. We are $3.75. For this game, Panthers are $1.73 at the moment, at the time of recording, and we are $2.12. I do really expect that to come together a little bit as the game approaches. I reckon maybe we duck below $2, or maybe we get close to that $2.04. Panthers maybe come back to $1.80, $1.85, something like that. We'll see what mind games we can play during the week. For the 13 plus, the big win, little win margins, we are paying $4.90, 13 plus. Langers is already around that one.
Absolutely.
1 to 12, we're at $3.20. The Panthers are $3.50 for 13 plus, and they are $2.90 for 1 to 12. So bookies are seeing this one as a close one as well. So it will be extremely interesting to see how. I reckon this one will replace the Raiders Broncos game in week 1. This will be the finals match of history or whatnot, if you will. So last time we met, though, round 9, Suncorp Stadium at Magic Round, they did dust us 32-8, 5 tries to 1. I believe Ben Hunt was the only one to score in that one. Last 5 games, we are on a 5-game win streak ever since we dropped the hamstring gate game of the Storm. We've gone Dolphins, Knights, Cowboys, Storm, Raiders. The Panthers, they had an L to the Raiders, L to the Dogs, win against the Dragons, win against the Warriors, now win against the Bulldogs. So, I don't know. I feel like we've had a little bit of a tougher run. So we'll see. We'll soon see. We'll get into the best bets real quick, and then we will wrap up there for a little bit of chat. Anything else, lads? Anything else you just want to quickly say on the game ahead? Anything that you see? Langers?
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, obviously. Well, sorry. Yeah, no, obviously. Yeah, I think it's really going to be a good game. Like it's definitely sort of shaping up that way. Panthers will do Panthers shit. Hopefully Broncos can bring their form that they have brought the last couple of games to put us on that 5 track. Hopefully we can make that 6 out of 6 and 7 out of 7. But yeah, Broncos 13 plus $4.90. Absolutely. You'd absolutely wrap around that for a couple of dollar dues if you've got some spare and you can do it responsibly. Yeah, just been sort of checking the markets, putting on a couple of little bets as you've been sort of chatting, Brito. And yeah, I do not mind the old Broncos to win, Stags anytime. Sorry, Broncos 1 to 12, Stags anytime. I'm spreading me bets, Thoroughbreds. I've obviously got the 13 plus 1,000. On, don't get me wrong. But yeah, if we do the 1 to 12 and we do the Stags, $7. So that's tidy. That's tasty. So, bet responsibly, obviously. But if you do the 13 plus Katoni Stags, that boosts it up to $8.50. Yes, I checked that as well. Yeah, obviously gamble responsibly. Hopefully big game from Stags. And, yeah, bring it fucking on. Bring on Sunday. Can't wait.
Good shit. What about you, Ringer, mate? Any last words on the game?
Yeah, I think that monetary betting spread's a bit fucking wild. $1.73 for Penrith is, I understand they are who they are, but like you said, their run home has been relatively fucking soft. They haven't run into anyone half decent for a fair few games. So yeah, and to put us over $2 after the game we played against the Raiders, where I think both teams on that day pump anyone else in the competition. I think it's a bit rough. So I've got that coming back to about $1.92, $1.85 by the time we get to kick off. I don't think we're going to have either team over $2, all depending on team list Tuesday, of course. Yeah, I think Broncos 13 plus. If you are looking for value in this game, the fact that when we play prelims and we win by 13 plus 80% of the time. I think that's a pretty nice little value bet there for the Thoroughbreds. So that's what I'll be sticking with. That's for true.
Yes, sure. Good stuff. Talking about best bets, we had a win last week. Couldn't back up this week. Gronk and Ringer, they hit with a KL Iro ATS and then a Ronaldo Mulatalo as well. Unfortunately, myself, I couldn't do the old Bulldogs v Panthers under 38.5. That was a bit of a fucking dicker. Blindsided by the Bulldogs there. And Langers missed a Sheridan Gallagher. There was an absolute fleet of points in that game, and Sheridan got close a couple of times, but no dice on that one.
She's like the Tamika Upton of the Knights world, and just couldn't do it.
I
And
know.
that's the only reason why I went it, because I couldn't go Tamika. Because if Tamika was playing, I'm picking Tamika, mate. So you already know what my best bet's going to be for this week.
Road to a milli, 4 out of 11, 36%. I mean, we could have seen that one coming after 75% hit last week. So
exactly.
We'll take that one, and we'll see what we're going to do this weekend. We might have to dabble in a bit of AFL just to make up a couple of legs there for the next one. If you did pick up the little horse bet that Ringer threw out during the week, that one got up as well. A little bit of a roughie in the Road to a Million, or the Hail Mary bet, as we're calling it lately. Wrap up before we wrap up, just a little bit of a Broncos announcement thing. They have locked up the Sunshine Coast Falcons, from all reports of what we're seeing, as a feeder club. So that means we've got Sunny Coast Falcons into Wynnum Manly Seagulls, across the Logan Magpies, and then down to Burleigh Bears. So got a really good spread going on there. I was interested to see if they would pick up with the Clydesdales now that they're back in the competition, but that hasn't come about just yet. But we'll watch this space when it comes to that. Anything else, lads? I think that's it. I think we're done and dusted. Nice tidy little episode for this week before we get into the absolute monster game that is going to occur on Sunday. I don't know if there's going to be a podcast next week, Thoroughbreds, since we are doing the live and whatnot. We are all going to be up here by the sounds of it. So I don't know. We'll see how we go. We might be absolutely buzzing. We won't be able to help ourselves or something like that. So, or we might just take a great opportunity to go underground for a week. It's tough being a Broncos fan, mate. I mean, you can't. Not everyone can do this shit. That's for sure. So. But anyway, that is us, Thoroughbreds, done and dusted for another week. Send us your thoughts. How do you think the game's going to unfold? What's going to happen in the Team List Tuesday? Put your comments down below. If you're listening to us, you found us, so please help spread the word. I know the Gronk is spreading the word at the Paul Bowman Carnival this weekend, which is good. Head over to our socials on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Like on our post costs you guys nothing, so hand them out where you can. Give us a comment, give us some bit of an engagement there. Share our content as well to introduce it to the others. Bet responsibly. Remember to bet for fun and not for the rent. Be a contributor to society. Stay out of one another unless it's consensual. We'll gallop off into a week. What a week it's going to be. Catches on the other side.
Cheers, Thoroughbreds.
Let's go, Thoroughbreds.